Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Gmod video featuring my voice. So I want to talk about the game mod I've been working on for Gary's mod lately, and just made a big update for. Gmod Hide and Seek. This video is going to be a little behind the scenes, explaining essentially how it works and what goes on, as there is when it comes to in-game setup, there's a lot of manual stuff that goes on in the background that you don't see. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you all that today, essentially just revealing everything. And let's get started. So I want to start with the timer. Actually, let's go back to spawn. Since we're on Cry of Fear, the spawn is right here. I want to start with the timer that you see on the top of the screen. So I have this from a mod called Simple Timer. I usually have it sitting up here. So how I set this up, this is how it works. Right click it, edit properties. So I change the color, you can change it anything you want. Yeah, I always change it to red by default. I set to 600 seconds, which is 10 minutes. And the name, you can call this whatever you want. But I call it Hide and Survive, which is what you see in all the vids. And you have these. So start event, this is what happens when you start the timer. I have that set to enable AI, and these two, this happens when you stop the timer, and this is when the timer ends. So for both, I have it set to kill all the NPCs and Nextbots. And that's it. After that, all you gotta do when you're ready, press E on the timer, and now it's ticking down. Press E again to stop it, and then press E to clear it. That's simple. So with the timer, like, it starts to say when they enabling AI, my bad. So let's get a couple bots in for demonstration. We start the timer. As you can see, now they're moving around. And when I pause the timer, they all die, just like that. The same thing will happen when I reset it. So it's paused now. Let's spawn a couple more. Oh. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I just paused it there. Then you reset the timer. There's that. Now on to the more interesting part of all this. The Nextbots. The guys that are chasing you around the map. So let's start with them. I'll start by showing off the whole cast right here in the RG base. Hide and Seek. This is the whole list as of recording this video. Some of these are group bosses. I try to sync them up with having identical icons. I'd be on like the legacy patients. You can tell these are all together. Moving on from that. So there's two systems I have for when spawning these guys. There's the old one and there's a new one. So let's start with the old one. Essentially what I would do is I'd fly around with AI disabled. I pick a spot. Let's pick the graveyard here, and let's pick, I don't know, our fan favorite, Leland Coyle.
You are the exterminator. Only we can tell you what is true. There is a snitch inside the prison, preparing to testify against our truth. Kill the snitch, and we will let you out.
So, as you can see, the intro plays, if they have an intro, they'll play it when they spawn. But they don't normally. So how the intro works is, you may have noticed in the videos the intro slightly cuts at the beginning. It doesn't start at the beginning. It starts like maybe a quarter of a second in. There's a reason for this. So what I'm actually doing is right before I hit record, I try to time it. Is I go through the files and I look for the intro. So for Coil, we would go for Slender, for Impact 1, Outlast, Coil. And then I would click this. Usually I click this, even though it's single player. But I click this if, let's say, we're in multiplayer. So how it would work is essentially, let's get a few bots lined up. Engineer. Okay, so how it would work. So what I would do is I'd play the intro.
You are the exterminator. Only we can tell you what is true. There is a snitch inside the prison, preparing to testify against our truth.
Wait for a bit.
Kill the snitch, and we will let you out.
And then start the timer, and then the match goes on from there. So that's the old system. The new way of doing it is a little different, and it makes it a little easier for me. So what the new system is right here. I use the sandbox horde system for you guys. So the new system, essentially, all I have to do is just pick a character and it spawns it for me. It even plays the intro. I did test this with friends a few days ago, and they told me they couldn't hear the intros. For some reason, only I could. I'm not sure why that is. Let's pick Leland Coil again. And I'm going to have this enabled, because this new system allows them to teleport around the map, so they stay within range. I have it set to within 2,000 hammer units. Maximum.
You are the exterminator.
As you can see,
only we can
the intro
tell you
played.
what is true. There is a snitch
It says no
inside
NPCs to
the
spawn,
prison,
that just means
preparing to testify against
it spawns in like there's like a weird map center area. It spawns in it. Then it picks a spot later on. I see we already hear him. Now I'm going to select this tool, so when we find him, I can place a tracker on him. Now I do this. Yep, here he is. Here's Coil. He's chasing me right now. As you can see his outline. On this map, it's gonna be a little more restricted because of the fog. Like, let's see here. I go far enough away, and the fog cuts it off. But on a map, like let's say Abandoned, I can see him from all the way across the map. Like a map that doesn't have fog. So Coil isn't the best to test the. He's not the best to test the teleport thing with. So let's pick a group boss. Let's pick the Legacy Patients, for example. They're a group of 5. So I have this enabled, teleport effects. This just gives it because they have an effect when they teleport around. Usually I have this disabled so you can't tell when they're teleporting around. That blue thing over there was it. Now, I'm not sure where it spawned them now. It'll just put them around the map within the radius. And we'll find them. Eventually. Let's get a few bots to help us with this. So they'll be running around. It might have spawned over here somewhere. Oh, yep. There's Machete. There's Machete Patient. Let's put a tracker on him since he's the main guy. He's the one that plays the intro. Now, before during the first couple sessions, I had the tracker on these guys. When I used the old placement system, I did this to make sure they wouldn't get stuck because their AI is pretty funky on multiplayer. But they move around just fine as single player like this. But in multiplayer, they tend to warp around. They tend to get stuck on surfaces. They tend to get confused. And on a couple occasions, on like certain surfaces, they tend to just spring shot themselves around. Just fling themselves around like rocket jump. Oh. Hello there. As you can see, it's spawning them in on their own. Let's put a tracker on. Oh, yep. Mr. Rich just teleported in. As you see there. Oop. But yeah, as you can see, this is the new system. They'll teleport every so often when they're... Where's this one? Teleport NPCs that have been outside the player's view for some time. That can be pretty short. So if this guy were outside of my range for... I want to say if it's up to a minute. I don't know how long it goes or how short it goes. It tends to be random. But they move after a couple of minutes at the longest. Now, I have... Oh shit. Yeah, as you can see, he moved across the map. Oh, and he did too. They all moved to me. They don't go to the bots because I guess they don't count as players. For some reason. do, but they also don't. And I'm out of stamina. So now this guy, I'm going to respawn over here. Since he'll be outside of my view range, he's going to teleport after some time. But as you've seen, the teleport... Nope. Machete just moved. You saw it. You saw it yourself. You saw it yourself. So all this does is just gives the effect. If I have this disabled, they'll teleport around, making no sound at all. So they can sort of just sneak up on you like that. So that's the teleporting system, and how the that's how that works. One more thing I want to... Oh, I forgot to get rid of the bots from earlier. One more thing I want to touch on about this is, I said it's still somewhat manual, meaning I have to select one of these. I want to talk about that for a minute. This definitely should be the last thing. And it's something that bugs me. Let's say we have a group. So group bosses, it's not exactly friendly with those, despite the footage you just saw. I'm looking for let's go to here. All the bosses I have in here are they're solos, not group bosses. So, for example, what would actually happen, what would be ideal is, let's say we got hatred, stalker, and patience. Let's say this is the 3 bosses we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, 7 entities in total, but the max is 5 usually. But since it's 3 entities, what would actually end up happening?
I think I got a blister on my thumb.
This is how many. So what would actually end up happening, since the max is 5, or since it included all of these, if it's all of them, what would happen is I get, let's say, a weird mix. Let's say I'd end up getting hatred, maybe 2 of the patients if I'm lucky, another boss like was freaking, maybe another group boss like one of the haunted. It'd be just a weird mishmash combo, and it just wouldn't work. So I still have it a little automated. So I have them all individual here. That's why I don't have any of the group bosses on this list. But if it's solos, it works just fine. So let's have 3. We have the mansion group here. So let's have this. Let me enable thinking. So it's gonna pick 3 of these randomly. We'll see if we get any with an intro.
When I was a boy, my mother often said to me,
We got Remnants,
get
Eddie,
married,
and Buffy.
how happy you will be.
Wait. Oh, that's waves. Oh no. Oh, that's not. Oh, hold on. I had them all selected. That wasn't supposed to happen. Let me try that again. Whoopsie daisies, you saw it yourself. Blooper. That's probably gonna end up in the video. So 3. Let's see.
When I was a boy, my mother often
Eddie,
said to
Buffy,
me,
and Phantom Woman from the
get
sounds of it.
married.
Oh, as you can see, there was no sound. He just appeared. Actually, wonder who the other 2 are. Buffy has a distinct chain sound when he moves. Oh, the footsteps too. I forgot Buffy had those. I think he teleported away because it stopped. Oh no, I hear him. Oh my god, Eddie's like camping, man. He's like camping me. Not camping me, Eddie. Now that, I'm not sure how that's happening, because if hearing is not enabled. It must be some sort of memory mechanic they have. Oh, there's Buffy. But as you can see, instead of a random mash, so that's how that works. And that's essentially that. As for the rules of the game mode, I'm sure I'll go into that in a bit. Actually, no, I'll save those for the actual gameplay videos. I have a few lined up. I have one that shows first impressions, and then a couple on some random maps. And those will be fun. Those will be fun when they come out. I look forward to releasing those. I'm sure they'll come out within a day of this video being released. So keep your eyes open for that. They're on the Hospice, Abandoned, Silent Hill, in that order. So keep your eyes open for that, and I'll see you in the next video.